Hey everyone, and welcome to this Yoga for Triathletes class with me, Chris. This class will focus on opening up the hips, and it's a pretty informal class. You'll see my daughter comes and jumps on us in the middle of the class. That's pretty standard with my classes, so if that annoys you, I'm probably not the yoga instructor for you. So I'd really encourage you to just enjoy it. Get those hips stretched out. It's great for runners, great for triathletes, great for athletes in general. So if you got a body, you're an athlete. That's what Coach Barrow always said, I think. Don't quote me on that. Bill Bowerman, that's the one. So hopefully you'll enjoy this class, and I will see you at the end. And we'll just start in a nice, easy, cross-legged seated position. And we'll set up nice and tall, find some length in the spine. Roll the shoulders up to the ear and down the back. And then we'll bring our hands to our belly, and we'll just start with, I'm going to face the camera, not the laptop. We'll just start with some nice, easy belly breathing. So really getting that diaphragm to work, feeling it expand on the inhale and contract on the exhale. Trying to breathe through the nose if possible. I'm blocked up with cold at the moment, so I don't know how much that's going to work, but we'll give it a go. There's about, I think we've got about 3 litres of oxygen that we can get into our lungs. And each normal breath, we'd normally take about 450 millilitres in. But of course, a lot of that is just the airway and not actually oxygenating the alveoli. So by increasing those breaths, we do a much better job of oxygenating our lungs. I don't think this is a good place to play a little munch because I'm doing yoga here.
I'm just playing things down.
Okay, you can come do some yoga with me if you want, but I don't think we should be playing here. Okay, and then we'll bring our hands back to our knees. Make sure we're sitting up nice and tall again. And then we'll inhale to bring the arms up. And exhale, we'll bend to the right. I may or may not be mirroring you at different points in the class. So I like to start this bit with a bit of mirroring, but later on, if you find you're the opposite way around to me, don't worry. We'll come back to center, and then we'll inhale the arms up again, and this time we'll go to the left. So if you do find yourself on the other side to me, don't worry, it's probably because I'm not mirroring you, and we always do things on both sides anyway. This time we'll take a twist to the right, so your left arm comes down to your right knee. Other arm can come behind you, and then let's look back the other way. And then we'll come back to center, and we'll take that twist on the other side as well. And again, looking back over that other shoulder. Good twisting, little munchkin. And then we'll come back to center from here, and we'll come onto tabletop, onto all fours. And we'll just take a minute to get nice and comfortable here. So get those wrists under your shoulders. Get your knees under your hips, and just get comfortable. And then we'll take some cat-cows. So with the inhale, we'll arch the back and look up. And with the exhale, we'll come down, we'll round the spine, we'll tuck the chin. And we'll inhale to come forward again. Looking up, arch back, and exhale. So round the spine, tuck the chin. And we'll just take a couple of these in our own breath. Inhaling to come into cow. Exhaling to come into cat. Come on, Trouble. Are you going to cat cow next to me, Benla? And then we'll come back to neutral here, a nice comfortable position somewhere in the middle. And we're going to lift the right arm up, and then we're going to thread it underneath and come down onto that right shoulder. Then we'll unwind. Come on, little munchkin. Let me teach my yoga, please.
Well, Mummy Bear's going to sit on
I
the
know.
relaxing chair.
And then we'll take the left arm up,
Mummy Bear.
and again we'll thread it through and come down onto that left shoulder.
No. Just me. Okay, come on, push this.
And we'll come back up. And then from here, we'll tuck the toes and we'll push our hips up and back into our first down dog. So find that nice inverted V shape. If you struggle with down dog, you could also come down onto your knees. That'll take a lot of the weight off your arms. But if you're in down dog with me, then get a nice heavy head. Gently push the heels down towards the mat. They don't need to reach. You get a better stretch if they don't. And then we'll drop the knees nice and wide and sit back on our heels into child's pose. So if you ever need it, you can always come back here at any point. And then from here, we'll come up to the top of our mat and we'll come to stand up in mountain pose, Tadasana. And to get some heat in the body, we'll go through some sun salutations. So strong in the feet, raise the shoulders up and roll them down the back again. Inhaling to find length in the spine. Exhaling to drop those shoulders away and down. And then from here we'll inhale the arms up, palms meet above us, look up, and we'll exhale into a nice deep forward fold. Bring the belly towards your knees. If you need to take a bend in the knees to do that, totally fine. And then we'll inhale to a halfway. So try and find that flat back, long legs. Hands don't need to go to the floor, mine only reach the shins to keep a nice flat back. And then we'll come back down into that forward fold. From here, we'll step back into plank. And as it's our first one, let's all drop our knees, untuck our toes, and then we'll gently lower down. Here we'll inhale, push up into the hands, into our back bend cobra, just as far as you're feeling comfortable with. Exhale to come back down to the mat. Take an inhale to prepare, and then with the exhale we'll tuck the toes and push the hips up and back into down dog. From here, let's walk up to the top of our mat, and we'll bring the arms up overhead, and with an exhale bring them down to heart center. So we'll run through that a couple more times, a bit faster just to get some heat in the body. So we'll inhale the arms up, exhale into a forward fold, inhale to lift halfway, look forward, flat back, exhale to come back into that forward fold, step back, find our plank. Nice, strong through the shoulders, straight line in the body. Lower down, either lowering the knees first or come all the way down through chaturanga. Untuck the toes push up into our back bend or cobra, and then exhale to push all the way back. Hips go up and down into down dog. Walk or jump to the top of the mat, and we'll bring the arms up, and we'll come down, hands to heart center. Let's get one more of these in, and then we'll move on. So we'll inhale the arms up, exhale to come down into that forward fold, inhale to halfway, exhale back down into the fold, step back into plank, lower all the way down to the mat, inhale to cobra or up dog if you'd prefer, and then exhale, tuck the toes, move all the way back into our down dog. From here, we'll walk or jump to the top of the mat. Now we'll bring the arms up overhead and exhale them down to heart center. So from here, we're going to come down into our squat, into our Melasana. So take your feet probably about as wide as the mat, and then we'll just gently sink down. It's helpful if you have got some cushions and you don't have the ankle flexibility, like I don't, to get them all the way down. It's good to have something squishy under there that'll help you get your heels a bit closer to the floor. I used to think I was just rubbish at doing a squat, and I kind of am, but a lot of it is just ankle flexibility and not being able to get my knees forward enough to really get into a deep squat and still keep my chest up. From here, we'll come back into our tabletop position, and we're going to really get the glutes firing here. So find a nice, strong, comfortable position, and then we're going to do a couple of donkey kicks. So we'll take the right leg and bring it, so flex the foot, point the bottom of the foot up to the sky, and then we'll inhale, we'll push it up just as far as it goes. Doesn't have to go high. We don't want to be twisting the hips outward, so if it only goes a little bit, keeping the hips square, totally fine. And then we'll exhale to bring it back down, and let's go for 10 of these in our own breath. Inhale to gently push up, keeping those hips square to the ground, and exhale to bring it back down. When you're done, just come back into tabletop. Whoa. And then we'll go again. When we're ready, take the left leg into the sky, and same thing again. Let's keep the hips nice and level, and if the leg doesn't go too far up, no problem. When you're done, just come back, find your tabletop. It's a pretty hips intense class today. Great, so from here, we'll tuck the toes and we'll push our hips up and back into down dog. And then we'll come and walk up to the top of our mat. And we'll find our mountain pose, our Tadasana again. From here we'll run through Sun Salutation B, Surya Namaskar B. So inhale to bring the arms up. Exhale to come down into a nice forward fold. Feels good after those donkey kicks. We'll step the right foot back into our low lunge. And then we'll take our left foot back as well. Push up into plank. Lower down to the mat. Inhale to cobra or to up dog if you prefer. Exhale, we'll push down to down dog. From here, we'll step the other foot forward between the hands. Drop that back knee, come up into our low lunge again. And then from here, plant the hands, step the other foot up to join it into our forward fold. Inhale to bring the arms up, and exhale down to heart center. So we'll go through a couple more lunges now. So we'll start by, let's bring our hands back down to the mat and step the right foot back and find your low lunge, and just spend a couple of breaths here, just finding a nice steady low lunge. And then if you're feeling comfortable here, you can tuck the right toes and push up into a high lunge. So trying to keep this front leg fairly level, knee right over the ankle, and then just squeeze into those legs. And from here we'll take a revolved twist. So we'll bring the hands together and we'll twist over that front knee just as far as you feel comfortable with. It's quite an intense stretch. Squeeze into those, particularly that front leg. Make sure you're pressing into all 10 toes. And then we'll come back to center and we'll step that right leg up to meet the left and come down into a forward fold. From here we'll sweep the arms up into our chair pose, our Utkatasana. So chest up, bottom down as much as you can. And then we'll sweep the arms back down to our forward fold and we'll step back into a down dog. From here, we'll step the right leg between the hands, drop the back knee, and we'll find our low lunge on the other side. Again, we'll just get comfortable here. And then when you're ready, tuck those back toes, press up. I'm going to swing around a bit so you can see me. Strong in those legs, front knee directly over the ankle, and then we'll take that twist on the other side. So hands come together, palms pressing into each other, squeezing into both legs. Come back to center here. So we're back in our high lunge. We'll step up so the left foot meets the right foot. From here we'll inhale the arms up. Exhale to come down into our fold. Inhale, halfway, flat back, looking forward. Exhale to come back down into our fold. Step back into plank. And here we'll lower down, push up into cobra or up dog, whichever one you prefer, and we'll tuck the toes to go back into down dog. Couple of breaths here, finding that nice long spine, that inverted V shape, heavy head. And then we'll take the right leg and we'll step it between the hands. And we'll find our high lunge. And then if you're feeling stable enough here, let's bring our arms up into crescent lunge. Still squeezing into those legs. Just bend back as far as you feel comfortable with. If you've got the balance, you can look up at the hands. And then we'll bring the hands back down and we'll straighten that front leg. And at this point, you might want to shorten your stance a bit. So bring that back leg in. And then we'll take a bend over that front leg, intense side stretch. So keeping both legs straight, you should feel an intense stretch down both legs. It's quite an intense one, so just go as far as you feel comfortable with. And we'll come back up. And we'll step up to the top of our mat. And we'll inhale the arms up. Exhale to come down into a forward fold. This time we'll step straight back to down dog. And then we'll step that left leg up between the hands. And we'll take this on the other side. So we'll start by coming up into our crescent lunge. Again, pressing into all 10 toes, strong in the legs to keep that balance. And then we'll straighten that front leg, maybe shorten the stance a bit. And then we'll fold forward over that front leg. And again, you should get that nice intense stretch down the back of both legs. Gently bring yourself back up. And then we'll step to the top of the mat. Inhale the arms up. Exhale to come back down into that nice fold. Bend the knees as much as you need to, getting that chest towards your thighs. We'll inhale, come up to halfway. Exhale to come back down into the fold. And we'll flow through our vinyasa. So set back into plank, find that nice doming of the shoulders. Lower all the way down. Inhale to come up into your cobra or your up dog. And exhale, roll over the toes, back into down dog. So you can stay here in your down dog, or option to take the right leg into the sky for three-legged dog. I'm hitting a wall here, which is why my leg is going in all sorts of crazy directions. If you're doing three-legged dog, keep the hips square. It's not a hip opener. We want them pointing towards the ground. And then we'll all step that right foot outside of the right hand. So I'll spin around so you can see. We're here in lizard. You can drop that back knee on the left side, or you can keep it on. You can keep your toes tucked if you want, but it's quite intense. So I would recommend dropping that back knee, and if you get any pain there, then just stick a cushion under it, and then we'll just sink down into our hips a little. Front knee is in flexion, the back front hip even is in flexion, back knee is in extension. It's lengthening out those hips. Ooh. And then from here, we'll take that front leg and we'll cross it just behind our hands to come down into pigeon. So we're kind of aiming for it to be parallel to the front side of the mat, but you've got to have pretty flexible hips to get that. So your foot probably will curve back to the body a bit. If you need to stick a pillow under that right hip, just to find a bit more comfort here, then feel free. And again, we'll just sink down, stretching out those hips. Then from here, let's take that right leg back and we'll come down onto our bellies and we'll come into Sphinx pose. So arms at a 90-degree. If you're feeling a stretch in the back there, you can just stay there, or you can look up to intensify the stretch a bit. And then we'll tuck our toes, bring our hands in and push back into down dog. And then here you've got the option again of taking that left leg into the sky for three-legged dog. Keeping the shoulders square, keeping the hips square, doesn't matter how high the leg goes. And then this time we'll step the left leg to the outside of the right, to the left hand even. And you can drop that right knee. And we'll just take a minute to drop into the hips. Feel that nice stretch as we flex the front hip and extend the rear hip. Not that you have front or rear hips, but and then again we'll take that left foot, cross it between the hands, come down into our pigeon pose on the left side. Again, if you need to prop up under that left hip to get a bit more comfortable, then do. And then we'll take that back and we'll find our Sphinx pose again. This is a great chance if you've got some water and you want to grab a drink. Now's a good time. Got two more hard bits and then we're just on to some nice easy stretches. So we're gonna come back into plank pose and we're gonna do some crunches here. So if you're finding it too hard to stay in plank pose, you could also just drop the body to the mat and just move the knee and get a nice stretch there. But for those of you that want to come up into plank, I'm going to inhale, bring the knee up to touch the elbow, and exhale to take it back. And we'll try for 5 on each side. So inhale, knee comes up, exhale to take it back. Inhale, exhale. That's 3. And that's 5. Let's set the knees down nice and wide and come down into a nice well-earned child pose. We'll just take a couple of breaths in our child's pose. And we'll come back up into tabletop. And we're going to do basically the same thing again, but this time we're going to cross, so the knee will come to the opposite elbow. If you're finding that too intense in plank, then you can do it from tabletop position, Or you can come all the way down onto your belly and do the same thing, just moving the elbow up to as far as you can get it while lying on your belly, and that takes all of the stress out of your arms. For those of you who want to do plank, let's push back up. Find that nice trim. And then again, we'll inhale, bring the leg forward, exhale to take it back. Inhale forward, exhale back. And again, line for 5 on each side. 2, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, 3, 4, and 5. Let's drop the knees here and we'll come down into extended puppy. So that's a lot like child's pose, but we keep a 90-degree bend here. So just bring the arms forward, but keep your hips in the air. And from here, we'll bring the knees together and we'll sit back onto our heels in hero pose. This is it's a really nice one for finding a bit more flexibility in the ankles. If you've got the flexibility, you can keep the knees together but take the feet wide and just sit back into the gap. You can also do it by sticking a pillow under there. This just helps us keep those nice streamlined feet while we're swimming. And we'll stay here for maybe a minute, just to get a nice stretch along the top of the feet. The way, you probably all know this anyway, but the way exercise works is that it just tears the body apart with the hope that it'll build back stronger. And so the reason we want to do some nice stretches after exercise is we want all those muscles to rebuild in a nice long flexible position. Nice deep belly breathing here. And then when we come down into deer pose, which it looks a lot like Sphinx pose at the front. So we're going to take our right leg, and we're gonna, it's kind of like a pigeon leg where we've got a kind of 90-degree bend here, and our back leg's just gonna tuck in so our knee comes into our sole of the foot, and then we're gonna bring the arms down as if we're in Sphinx pose, and should get a nice little twist in the body. But then also, if you walk the arms forward a bit, you should feel a big stretch in the glute as well. Do take it gentle, because this one can be quite intense. And then just play around with those arms and find the place where you're hopefully feeling that stretch in your glute. And we'll come back up and we'll take that on the other side. I'm going to flip round so I'm not facing away. So we'll bring that left leg across this time. The leg hooks into it, and then bring the body down to a nice deer shape. Why do they call it deer pose? I have no idea. Hashtag dad joke. Also, it looks quite a lot like a deer sitting down. We'll come back up. And this time, we're going to send the right leg out in front of us. And we'll bring the sole of the left foot and put that into our thigh, as if we were doing tree but we're sat down. And then we're going to fold forward across the outstretched leg. Now how far you get will be up to you. You might want to stick a cushion under your bottom if you don't have much flexibility there. I don't really look like I'm folding forward at all, but I know that there are a lot more flexible people than me. Again, we'll just keep that nice deep breathing going. And then we'll bring ourselves back up and we'll swap legs. So we'll send that left leg out in front of us, we'll tuck the right sole into that thigh, and then we'll bend forward over our other leg. Flex the toes back towards you, that'll help with the stretch. Then we'll bring ourselves back up, get rid of anything you're sitting on, and I'm going to bring the soles of the feet together in bound angle pose. How far you have them away from the hips is up to you, but then once you're there, we're just going to gently recline backwards into reclined band angle. If this is uncomfortable, you can shove some cushions under your knees, but if you're otherwise okay, just let the knees flop down and allow those hips to open up. If you do shove some cushions under there, try and make sure they're not wedged under too tight, so as your hips gently open, they've got some room to sink down. And then we'll bring the knees back up and we'll position our feet so they're just below our bottom. We're going to go into bridge pose here. So we'll bring the arms down by the side. I'll shuffle along so you can see me better. And then on the inhale, we're going to push into the feet, push into all 10 toes, raise the hips up. And then exhale to lower down. And we'll just take a couple of these in our own breath. So we're squeezing into those quads, squeezing into the glutes, getting the hips nice and high, and then gently exhaling, rolling the spine down vertebrae by vertebrae. Make this your last one, and then come back down to the mat. From here, we'll bring those feet in, grab hold of the feet if you can, bring those knees to the shoulders, to the ears, point the soles of the feet up to the sky. And then we'll take the knees, bring them together, and we'll let them flop over to the right side. Arms can come to a T or come to cactus. Hug the knees into your chest, and then let them flop over to the other side. And then we'll come back to centre and we'll take one final hug in. Maybe have a little roll around here, massaging the lower back. And then we'll come down into our Shavasana. So legs come out long, hands can come down by your side, or they can come to your belly, whichever you feel most comfortable with. Legs probably as wide as the mat. And you can gently close the eyes. If you've got any extra layers that you want to put on, now's a good time. I'm going to grab my hoodie. And then from here, we'll just find ourselves melting into the floor, releasing all of that tension in our body. Hands can do whatever feels most natural. You'll probably find that having a slight bend in the fingers takes the least amount of effort. Let the feet flop out or flop in, whichever feels good. And we'll just take a minute here, just thinking about nothing, allowing those thoughts to come and go. This is a nice chance to be mindful. It's often assumed that mindfulness is about having a completely clear mind, but thoughts will always come and go. And the choice we have isn't whether we block the thoughts, it's whether we get emotionally involved in those thoughts and how much attention we give to them and how much emotional energy they take up. And it's very easy to get involved, but with practice we can choose not to do that, and we can let those thoughts just float on by. Is there anywhere in the body that you're holding tension? Maybe the forehead, the cheeks, the jaw. Can you soften those shoulders down any further? Can you find any more space, anywhere else where you can gently melt into the mat? Can you feel the air moving in and out? You feel it in your nose and your throat, in your chest as it rises and falls. And then from here we'll bring a bit of life back into the body, so maybe wiggle the fingers, maybe wiggle the toes. Make that movement a little bigger, take it into your wrists, take it into your ankles. Maybe move the arms a little bit, shake the legs. If you've got space, you can take your arms overhead, bring your legs together, find a lovely pencil stretch. And then bring your knees, hug them into the chest. We have one final roll around. And then with the eyes still closed, or with them open, gently using your arms, push your way up and find a nice, comfortable seated position. Finding that nice tall spine. Letting the shoulders fall away from the ears. And then bring your hands to heart center. Namaste. Thank you for coming to practice with me today. I hope you've enjoyed this class. I hope you found it useful, and I can't wait to see you in another class soon.